Rub your hands together. Rub your hands together just a little bit. Slow enough that you feel with a little bit of pressure. So you can feel the squeeze and you can feel the friction. If you go too fast, no, that's not where we're going for today. We're going for slow, calming, and enough pressure and friction that you feel the fascia moving and you can start to feel some tingles up your arms and in your shoulders. I'm Iglesia, and we're going to look today at how to begin. We have 10 minutes handling grief and very old and deep feelings, especially our fear of those feelings. Now, at this point, you've gotten some of your hand, but you haven't gotten all of your hands. How about your fingers? Again, there could be a tendency to rush and go fast. Let's get this done. Mm-mm. In fact, if anything, go slower, with more pauses. Now, you might find yourself resisting some grief or skilled with being with grief, resisting feelings, being afraid of feelings, not wanting to have a lot of big feelings. I tend to be the kind of person who I'd rather I'd rather full out get on the floor and cry, lose it alone than with people. Sometimes, oftentimes, I have a much harder time accessing my feelings, my truth, or at least the momentary truth, being witnessed by someone, whether they are capable of it or not. So you can decide for yourself where you're at. The title here is really focus is meaningful. We're going to handle grief, not because grief is something that can be fixed or managed or controlled, but because there's so many nerves in our hands that our brain knows so much about what's going on in our hands, and our hands are just so extraordinarily sensitive that using our hands as a metaphor to handle our feelings can bring warmth and care and support in a way that wouldn't happen if we were just doing things abstractly. So, handling our grief. So, we'll start with grief, we'll move to fear. Handling our grief. First of all, how is your grief? What is your grief like? So, use your imagination. Settle into the support of the floor. What's your grief like? Generally, there's going to be one of two answers. It's something you're holding, carrying inside you, outside you, imaginally, metaphorically. The second is it's purely the landscape you're in. You're in the dark, you're in a box, you're on a path, you're on a mountain. Could be anything. And there's no wrong answer. And it also could be a combination of two. There's other variations, but those are going to be the two most common. So with your body, feel into, imagine you could just know, what's my grief like today? The third way, so something you're carrying, something that's an object, something that's a landscape. The third piece of knowing here could just be body. What's my grief like today? What's my grief like today? What's my grief like today? Could be stiff, could be braced, could be a lot of things, could be anything. What's your grief like today in this moment? Because it's going to change every few moments. Once you've got a sense of one of those three, then start to move your rib cage side to side. Floor's got you. Move enough that you can feel the weight shifting from foot to foot. And just like we do with the hands, there can be a tendency to rush and not feel. So slow things down and start to feel. Now, I actually like more than feel, because feeling has so much baggage or misunderstanding that if we feel it, we heal it. Maybe not. Let's shift our attention to appreciation. So appreciate the sensations. Now, maybe you reject the idea of appreciation. Notice, pay attention to, be aware of sensations. I want to use words to help you come into the experience with minimal resistance. And if it's not my words, play with your words. Now, at this point, you can have ankles, knees, hips, lots of joints moving. But the key is you're moving slow enough with a bit of a pause so you can do a lot of exhaling. You can let your head go for a ride. And if you go too far, it starts to be kind of this weird, sloppy thing. You can try that. It might add something to your experience. But I would say that the sweet spot eventually is being able to be present and take up space and feel supported while being aware and even appreciative of certain sensations, which could be difficult if you've got some pain. So be aware of what you're noticing, notice what you're aware of, and then add your arms. Add your arms in some way that slows things down, unravels some tension. I feel tension in my shoulders, so it feels very, very good to focus there. It could be into the hips. So you're going to maximize, optimize, explore your range, your available range. No expectations to make it further, to push it deeper. Just explore your full range. Now, we're exploring and being with grief. Welcome to being with grief. So put a little bit more attention on your grief. A person you've lost, a being, a friend, a love that you've lost, a life unlived, many, many versions of you that we've have to forego to do what's next, to be you today, to be who you're becoming. So there's a lot of ways to explore that and come back to what was grief like? Has it changed? If it's an object, if it's a landscape, if it's just posture, that one's definitely changed. Has anything else changed? Now, in the meanwhile, you've been setting yourself up to feel fear. And there can be fear for lots of reasons, or fear of what would happen to us if we were seen. We can describe that in many, many ways. What I want to invite you to do is with your hands, you're going to go down and at some point open them. They reach up and out and up, and then come down with your fingers pointing towards you. So we've got leadership with fingers pointing. There's a direction here that's happening. There's a direction that's happening. They circumscribe a space around you, and you come down and open again. So a lot of movement and range of motion with your arms and hands. And as you open up, think about ready. I'm ready to feel my fear. I'm ready to name my fear. And I've got all this space. Having done that, take 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, bring a hand to your heart and a hand out. So we've got the posture of connecting to self and available for others, available to life. What is life inviting me? And very specifically, loss. So I'm available to be present with the loss, this bridge that's no longer the same as it used to be. Now, in your imagination, you can always bring to mind people you've lost, or versions of yourself that you've lost, or you can bring to mind where you're going, in which case you are leaving behind certain things. And we're handling this fear, handling it here, right here in the body, handling it here in our connections. Take a few breaths. Now, just for today, what's one small fear that comes to your attention? from this very supported, very ready place. Bring your attention to how you are supporting yourself, regulating yourself, being with yourself, and bring your attention to the quality of connection or not connection, availability or not availability, presence or not presence, tethering to this person in their life or they're not here anymore, and what the quality was of the relationship. So those are just a couple of the facets of the experience that might be present for you. It could be many other things. And it could be anywhere on a numb to very intense feeling spectrum. Perfect. Make a small movement as if you were massaging into a knot, very, very gently, with an invitation for movement. A lot of stillness underneath and an invitation for movement. And stay with it until you get a sigh or two. To finish this practice today, same position, but make a new choice. This could be a choice at the level of identity or action. Who I am that is self regulated and available. Who I am, or I can do this. I can do connection, availability, and presence with myself. So, whether it's more identity focused or behavioral focused or possibility focused, you've identified, you've named a change for yourself. You've got that new pathway. You've done some clearing and or some healing. You've been with grief and the way your relationship is with it. Now, this is going to reset a few things in your life, but it's up to you to go find out how that is. You can do this video again or slowly deepen it and ultimately lead yourself through it. Because when you are the one narrating and you are the one also then listening and moving, you have the yin and the yang. You are the leader and the follower for yourself. And that's a fantastic way to recalibrate, reset, and then open yourself up for some more life.